Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anthony Hadley Jr. I am a Los Angeles-based creative that makes content predominantly revolving around film, lifestyle, and tech. Now, I've been into filmmaking for over a decade in some form or fashion, but after spending so much time at home in the pandemic, I found myself getting more so into editing, especially into grading. Now, a lot of that had to do with owning a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera and having access to DaVinci Resolve Studio. Now, with that and consistently working towards bettering my editing and grading skills, I found myself wanting to step up to a better camera, more specifically a RED. Now, one of the biggest selling points of RED cameras are going to be their color science and their 16-bit depth codec. Working at that bit depth gives you a lot more latitude and range to push your edits in post. But it comes at a very steep price. So I decided to go the other way and buy this camera, which is probably about 10 years old now. Now, one of the many selling points about this camera is its price point. Usually you can find it for roughly about $200, give or take, online. The other selling point is if you install Magic Lantern on here, you can get a 14-bit RAW file out of this camera. And for me, when I switched out from my Panasonic GH4s and before I jumped into the Canon RF mount, I actually bought a few Canon M50s. So luckily enough, I had a few accessories for this mount already, including the speed booster. So for me, that made it a lot easier to buy into this ecosystem and to make this investment. Now, with that said, I want to jump in and break down this rig build just a little bit. Now, at the base of this, of course, is going to be the Canon EOS M. If you spent any time on YouTube researching the EOS M and Magic Lantern RAW, you've probably run into a YouTube channel and a guy named Zeke. And I actually use his recommendation for my actual camera cage, and this is a cage from Camvate, I believe. Then on the top of my cage, I have a small rig NATO rail plate. And then at the base of my rig, I have a generic Arca Swiss plate. One thing I've been doing recently is switching all of my cameras to an Arca Swiss mount plate to make it more adaptable. I've bought these, I have different brands, but I have these, I think they sell them traditionally for gimbals, your Weebles and your DJI RS2 and RS3s, but I have a Manfrotto plate, which then takes my Arca Swiss mount and then I can mount it here. So it gives me the ultimate adaptability. So no matter if I want to use this as a lightweight setup for one of my smaller tripods, then as I said, if I want to just put this right here, I can use this as is, and it gives it a better base for stability, but also this will go into my Manfrotto tripods. So it gives me the ultimate adaptability so I can use my cameras on whatever type of tripod I need. If I need a sturdier, more heavy duty base, I can use this on my Manfrotto tripods, but also I can use this on my smaller travel tripods as well. Now, the reason I ended up putting this NATO rail on here is for a couple of different attachments. First and foremost, if I need a top mount, I can put that on there. And this mount is from Small Rig. Most of these things are going to be from Small Rig aside from the actual cage and the tripod mounts. But also, if I wanted to use a monitor, I have this monitor mount from Small Rig as well. The thing I like about this one is not only does it have a locking lever to put it in place, but it has an actual little detachable mount for my monitor. As I said, I did have a couple of EOS M cameras before, so I have two Viltrox adapters. One that is just going to be a basic pass-through adapter from EOS M to EF, which would then go onto the mount. And then I also have a Viltrox speed booster, which will then allow me to change the focal range from something more akin to a Super 35 sensor to more full frame. My go-to lens that I've been using right now, I've been building a kit of Contax Zeiss lenses, but this is the Contax Zeiss 35-70 f3.4. So it's something around full frame. I get a focal range somewhat similar to 35-70, and I probably get close to an extra stop of light. So this 3.4 goes to maybe 2.8. I'm probably wrong about that, but let's just call it 2.8 for now. Now, as a setup with a small footprint and still lightweight, I do like this setup. Now, I will say the one thing that this thing lacks is going to be the proper amount of weight to get good handheld shots without any jitters. So one thing I would do if I needed to, if you guys remember my EOS RP rig, so maybe I would put this small rig base plate on here and then add some rods. I do actually have a dummy battery that has passed through from a USB-C battery. So if I really wanted to, I would take this and the Arca Swiss plate off of here, then put this on here. Then I could put this in here along with the rods, and I could put a V-mount battery on the back, and that would help give this camera rig a little bit more weight, which would make it better for handheld shots. But I also do now realize that this camera does not shoot in 60 frames per second. I will actually be trying out pretty soon with 48 frames per second. And in that case, I may try to build my rig out just a little bit more just to see if that extra weight helps with the slow motion shots and even with the shots at 24 frames per second. But yeah, I'm sure over time my EOS M camera rig build out will change, but this is what I have going on for now. In an upcoming video, I will break down how I use the MLV app to transcode these ML files to something a lot more useful for me to grade in DaVinci Resolve. And I will actually break down how I grade these files in DaVinci Resolve. But in the meantime, if you guys have any thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.